A very good evening to you and a warm welcome to the news live from the National News Studios. And I'm Sharita Tahir.
I'm Charita Minipurarachi and let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news.
Nadisha Ramanayaka wins gold in women's Asian 400 meters event. An allergy may have been the cause for the death of the Peradeniya youth. North Railway line reopens after reconstruction. Minister Susil Premadanta says school examinations will be held on scheduled times from next year. Permits of traders at economic centres who refrain from purchasing vegetables and fruits directly from the farmers will be revoked. Record heat in Europe to prevail during the next couple of days.
We move on to those and other stories in detail now. Nadisha Ramanayaka has won the gold medal in the 400 meters women's event at the Asian Athletics Championship 2023.
The championship is currently underway in Thailand. Nadisha Ramanayaka recorded a time of 52.61 seconds to secure the gold. This is the best time she recorded in the 400 meter event. Sri Lanka secured 2 bronze medals yesterday in the championship. Meanwhile, Samita Dulan won the bronze medal at the World Para-Athletic Championship, which is currently underway in Paris. He secured the 3rd place in the finals of the men's javelin throw F46 event, recording a distance of 64.06 meters. This is Samita's personal best of the year in this category.
Director of the Peradeniya Teaching Hospital, Dr. Arjuna Tilakaratne says that the death of the young female who was admitted to the hospital to sought treatment for abdominal ailment may have been caused from a rare allergy. Speaking at a media briefing today, he said that a final determination over the cause of the death could not be made until the handing over of the relevant examination reports. An open verdict has been issued following the post-mortem of the deceased youth. Specimens of the deceased have been referred for a forensic examination. A verdict will be issued following the completion of the examination. The deceased youth was admitted to the Katapitiya Hospital on the 10th, who was seeking treatment for an abdominal ailment. Subsequently, she was transferred to the Peradeniya Teaching Hospital for further treatments. She was then directed to Ward 7 of the hospital following emergency care unit treatments. The remains of the deceased youth are kept in her residence at present. Director of the Peradeniya Teaching Hospital, Dr. Arjuna Tilakaratne said that more than 2,700 patients in the hospital have been administered with the medicine and administered in other hospitals in the country. He said that they are doubtful whether the death of the young female may have been caused by a rare allergy. He said that all treatments given to the patient should be scrutinized in order to make a determination over the cause of the death. He pointed out that the patient had been given the proper treatment as well as medicine until the final moments.
Police media spokesman SSP Nihal Thalduva says reports circulated in social media regarding the crest gem of the Ruwanveli Mahasaya in Anuradhapura are false and baseless. He pointed out that investigations were carried out over this issue through various areas. He made these remarks during a media briefing held at the Government Information Department today. Police media spokesman SSP Nihal Thalduva said that reports circulated on social media claiming that the crest gem and the gems in the sacred pinnacle of the Ruwanveli Mahasaya in Anuradhapura had been stolen, and a fraudulent activity had been occurred in this regard by allegedly connecting the chief incumbent of the temple and the Venerable Atamasthanathipati. Accordingly, he said that 11 suspects have been taken into custody and produced before the Mahara courts.
තිබෙනවා මේ කාරණා සම්බන්ධයෙන් කියලා සමාජ මාධ්‍ය ජාලාවල විශේෂයෙන්ම YouTube වල විකාශය වුණා. ඒ අනුව අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව සැකකරුවා අත්අඩංගුවට ගත්තා පසුගිය 11 වෙනිදා. ඔහු මහර ගරු අධිකරණයට ඉදිරිපත් කිරීමට කටයුතු කළා අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව විසින්.
Additional Secretary to the Ministry of Industries, Kalum Vijayanayaka, said the National Gem and Jewellery Institute has submitted a report to the courts after conducting an examination in this regard. He said that according to the report, no proof is available to claim the gems have been removed from the previous pinnacle and attached to the new one.
The renovated section stretching from Anuradhapura to Omante in the Northern Railway line officially opened for operations today.
The inauguration was held with the participation of Minister Bandula Gunawardena. A test run of the northern line from Colombo Fort to Jaffna was carried out today. The reconstruction of the railway line and the reopening of the railway line up to Jaffna was ceremonially celebrated on Anuradhapura railway station. The Indian officials who were in charge of the renovation project of the Northern Railway line were also present at this occasion. Symbolizing the reopening of the railway line, Sri Lankan legume trees were planted at the Anuradhapura and Kilinochchi railway stations. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that section from Mahava to Omante is about 128 kilometers. He said that the project was commenced 5 months before in an expeditious manner from Anuradhapura to Omante. He added that the complete restretch has been handed over to the Indian company and they have successfully completed the task. The train, which arrived at Jaffna, was welcomed by Minister Douglas Devananda. The Railway Department and the said train that the train have ability to operate at a speed of 100 km per hour on the newly renovated railway line. The renovation project under the funding assistance of India was commenced on the 5th of January. The project was initiated under 2 phases. Under the first phase, the stretch from Anuradhapura to Omante has been completed renovatedly. Accordingly, railway operations from Colombo to Jaffna will commence from day after tomorrow. The second phase of the renovation project from Mahava to Omante line will commence from the beginning of the next year.
Minister Susil Premajanta says all school examinations will be held on the scheduled times from next year onwards. The minister made these remarks while taking part in the prize giving of the Sirima Bandaranaike College, Colombo, yesterday. Prizes were awarded for students who excelled in the years 2019, 2020, 2021 and 2022. In addition, academic staff who reported to duty continuously and students who were represented in international competitions were felicitated during the event. The outstanding past students of the school also received awards at the ceremony. Principal of the school, Dr. Sumedha Jayavira, was present at the occasion. Minister Susil Premajanta said that all school examinations are expected to be conducted on scheduled times by 2024. He said that efforts have been taken to recover from the setbacks suffered during COVID-19 pandemic. He pointed out that the support of the teachers in this endeavour is essential. Supporting the socio-economic reintegration of Sri Lankan migrant workers repatriated due to the COVID-19 outbreak project was concluded successfully today.
And migrant workers were the most affected by the COVID-19 pandemic and were at a risk of unemployment and non-payment of wages. The Sri Lankan migrant workers who opted to return to home immediately, medium and long-term interventions to recover from the socio-economic impact. Accordingly, a project was implemented with funding support from Japan, the International Organizations for Migration and the International Labour Organization in close collaboration with the Ministry of Labour and Foreign Employment to support the socio-economic reintegration of repatriated Sri Lankan migrant workers. The project, which was commenced in April 2021, executed the project activities in 9 districts and generated numerous benefits to return to the migrant communities. Chief of International Organization for Migration Mission in Sri Lanka, Sara Dash, Country Director of International Labour Organization, Sumiran Singh, Deputy Head of the Japanese Mission in Sri Lanka, Kotaro Katsuki, and Secretary to the Ministry of Labour and Foreign Employment, RPF Vimalavida, were present at this occasion.
It achieves this through community infrastructure development, providing access to employment opportunities, and reducing vulnerability through enhanced skills development for future employment prospects. This program enables Sri Lankan individuals with a certain level of Japanese language proficiency and specified skills to seek employment opportunities in Japan.
The COVID-19 pandemic resulted in many migrant workers being forced out. Sri Lankan migrants were affected by border closures and lockdown, leaving many vulnerable and experienced loss of employment and non-payment of wages. This resulted in returning to Sri Lanka, thus creating a massive deficiency in the socio-economic status. To address these challenges, the International Organization for Migration and the International Labour Organization have collaborated with the government of Japan on an initiative to support the socio-economic reintegration of repatriated Sri Lankan migrant workers.
Government of Japan and the IOM, you have selected the most vulnerable group at that time. They lost their livelihood, employment opportunities, their income, and also some of them were not paid. They returned to the country, and if these people were not selected, they will become unemployed population in the country.
Whereas ILO looked at strengthening the institutional capacity in the country to have appropriate skills and capacity that could be leveraged when people remigrate, so that they go with better skills and better bargaining power. That was the focus and the division of labor.
We have a scary issue of all of these poor, vulnerable, especially women, coming back from unpaid, low-paid jobs, looking for employment. The tension that creates, perhaps in the communities they're returning to, how do you manage that? How do you get them engaged? Because the psychological aspects of returning abruptly and the fear of COVID, everyone had that fear of COVID at that time. Those were really real human elements that this project captured.
The Ministry of Agriculture has decided to revoke the permits of the traders who refrain from directly purchasing vegetables and fruits from farmers which are brought into economic centres. Opportunities will be extended for farmers to trade their products at the economic centres without the involvement of intermediaries. Minister Mahinda Amaravira made these remarks when he met with farmers in Colombo district who cultivate vegetables using Sojan system. The minister has said that he has received complaints from farmers claiming that traders are refraining from purchasing their products directly from them. The ministry has observed that the intermediaries are engaged in a scheme of extort farmer community as well as the consumers. The trade stalls at economic centres have been leased for the traders. The minister has decided to conduct a lengthy discussion with managers of economic centres and farmers who supply vegetables and fruits to centres. It was also revealed that the number of trade stalls at economic centres will be further expanded.
And meanwhile, the inauguration of the island-wide irrigation development program was held today. Under the program, irrigation development projects targeting many parts of the country were commenced today. The program has been initiated under World Bank funding assistance. The reconstruction of the Giritale LB1 main channel in Polonnaruwa was commenced today with the participation of Minister Roshan Ranasinghe. The inauguration ceremony of the Badula district project under the irrigation development program was held at Uma Ala, Kurundagolla. It was held with the participation of parliamentarian Sudarshana Denipitiya. Development activities of one of the canals commenced during the ceremony. 3.6 million rupees has been allocated for this project. Around 2,000 farmer families will be benefited from this project.
The permission granted by the Department of Motor Traffic allowing three-wheelers to fix additional accessories and beautification of the three-wheelers came to effect from July 10th. An additional charge has also been imposed in this regard.
The required regulations and guidelines have been formulated based on continuous discussions with three-wheelers associations and according to the Motor Traffic Act. Accordingly, 2,500 rupees will be charged to modify the single light main lamp to a dual light system and to modify windscreen in three-wheelers. Also, 500 rupees will be charged for the external fixing of a muffler and adding side mirrors. The Department of Motor Traffic also indicated that 1,000 rupees will be charged to make modifications with fiber or plastic accessories, to fix wind deflectors, to fix LED lamps and to upgrade the brake system to a hydraulic system in three-wheelers. Also, 2,000 rupees will be charged to fix additional stainless steel modifications. And the chairman of the Sri Lanka Triposha Limited, Deepthi Kularatna, says the production and the distribution of Triposha are being carried out in a normalized manner.
He made these remarks during a media briefing held in Colombo today. Sri Lanka Triposha Limited was established in the year 1973 and transformed into a state-owned enterprise in the year 2010. This company is considered as one of the revenue-earning state-owned enterprises, making annual contributions to the treasury. The company produces close to 1.3 million packets of Triposha per month and requires around 15 metric tons of maize. The required amounts of maize for production are met through local production and imports from India. In addition, the company also produces a Suposha and a nutrition bar, which have gained an international recognition at present. The chairman of the company has urged the public not to inflict any unnecessary fear over Triposha and Suposha, as these products are nutritious for feeding mothers and children.
A motion was filed before the Supreme Court today on behalf of the petition filed seeking an order to prevent the waiving off of the loans obtained by the government from the Employees Provident Fund and the Employees Trust Fund during the domestic debt reconstruction process. The relevant motion was filed by Attorney at Law Sunil Watagala. The motion has requested to take up the consideration of the relevant petition on the 17th of this month. The petition was filed by the Intercompany Employees Union and 6 others. The petition has named 46 respondents, including Monetary Board of the Central Bank Governor, Head of the Employees Provident Fund and Employees Trust Fund, Prime Minister and the Cabinet of Ministers and the Attorney General. The petition has emphasized that more than 20 million active member accounts are being maintained in the Employees Provident Fund and Employees Trust Fund.
In the meantime, the ceremony to present an award to a Sri Lankan national for their contribution towards enhancing relations with Sri Lanka was held today. Accordingly, the award is presented by the Russian Foreign Ministry through the Embassy of Russia in Sri Lanka. This year's recipient of the award was one of the key members of the Russian House, CEO of the Russian Cultural Center, Buddha Priya Ramanayaka. The award was presented by Russian Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Levan, and the award was presented as a special sign of the Russian Foreign Ministry for collaboration in enhancing the relations and promote Russian
For me, as ambassador of the Russian Federation to the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, it's a big honor to announce it according to the decision of the Russian Foreign Minister, Mr. Lavrov, to give a reward to our friend, Mr. Ramanayake, who for decades has been working here as a high-ranking employee, our medal for cooperation. It means that he contributed a lot to the contribution of the development of our bilateral relations in all fields, first of all, cultural field, to bring together the peoples of Russia and Sri Lanka. We highly appreciate his activity and wish him good luck, all the best in the future, and we will hope that he will continue this activity in future to benefit both countries.
And the Sri Lankan Iran Child Welfare Week, organized by the Iran Cultural Center, was launched recently at the Colombo Public Library. Minister Vidura Wickramanayake was the chief guest of the ceremony. The chief librarian of Colombo Public Library, Varuni Gangadarachi, library officials and officials of Iran Cultural Center and Embassy also participated in the event. Around 100 students from 5 schools in Colombo district participated in the event. These students were trained by visiting international museum ambassadors from Iran, in particular handcrafts, dropping language,
The two countries of Iran and Sri Lanka have always had a good and stable relations. But holding the Children's Friendship Week is a sign of the will and interest to expand these relations, especially in the field of cultural arts, children, and education. Race, ethnicity, religious, or social and economic based we belong to, we need relation and mutual respect for political, economic, cultural, social, scientific, and technological development. Relation and mutual respect, like any other human behavior, requires training and learning. Holding Children's Friendship Week means investing in friendly and stable relations for future generations, because the language of the children is the language of the peace and friendship.
The best language is language of heart. If we understand that language, there won't be any conflicts, no trouble. It is the human fraternity that matters. This human fraternity is being built upon culture. We share the same culture. Whatever the country, whatever the nation, whatever the language we speak, it is the same culture. Today, the Iranian Cultural Center, under the banner of Cultural Center, they are extending their kindness, their empathy, their love towards Sri Lanka and children. These two cultures exchanged their love, empathy, kindness centuries ago. And I'm really thankful to the Iranian government as well as the Iranian embassy of Sri Lanka, especially the cultural attaché in the cultural center, giving us towards the cultural insight of Iran, especially to children.
The fifth session of the Sri Lanka Innovators Forum, initiated by the Gamini Korea Foundation on Good Governance, was held in Colombo recently. The session was conducted by the Foundation Chairman, Dr. Lloyd Fernando. The session is a part of the ongoing research project conducted by the Gamini Korea Foundation under the Sri Lanka Innovators Forum. Dr. Lloyd Fernando's research paper on good governance examines good governance practices, offering valuable insights and a framework for evaluating Sri Lanka's policies and performance. The objective of this session was to provide opportunities for interaction and active participation by politicians, academics, subject specialists to productively contribute towards the ongoing process of economic recovery and development. Central to Dr. Fernando's argument for good governance was the importance of accountability as an institutional foundation for good governance within a democratic system. He further elaborated on the elements that uphold accountability and emphasized the significance of the 7 principles of good governance in guiding governance practices and fostering a comprehensive development agenda.
To have in Sri Lanka something.
The Gandhara Symposium 2023, titled Cultural Diplomacy, Reviving Gandhara Civilization and Buddhist Heritage in Pakistan, was held in Islamabad, Pakistan recently. It was organized by the Pakistan Prime Minister Task Force of Gandhara Tourism, the Institute of Strategic Studies Islamabad and the Directorate of Archaeology and Museums, Government of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. The Gandhara Symposium is comprised of many activities, including 4 sessions focused on Gandhara civilizations and Buddhist heritage in Pakistan. The inaugural session of the symposium was addressed by President of Pakistan, Dr. Arif Alvi. The speakers at the Gandhara Symposium will be from Malaysia, Thailand, South Korea, Nepal, Sri Lanka, China and Pakistan. Faith leaders, archaeologists, curators, experts and religious scholars with academicians will reflect on the richness of Gandhara civilizations and the Buddhist heritage during the symposium. One of the key objectives of the Gandhara Symposium will be to create awareness about Gandhara civilizations and foster on Pakistan's diverse cultural heritage. Stay tuned with international news after this break.
Prima Kotumi, Fantamai.
Dengue, 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 dengue. Dengue, 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 dengue. Dengue, 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 dengue. Dengue, 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 dengue.
A total commitment by everybody, every day, will help control dengue. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Prima Kutumi, Fantamai.
Welcome back with international news. And a heat wave is sweeping across parts of southern Europe and northwest Africa with potential record-breaking temperatures in the coming days. Temperatures are expected to surpass 40 degrees Celsius in parts of Spain, France, Greece, Croatia and Turkey. In Italy, temperatures could reach as high as 48.8 degrees Celsius. A red alert warning has been issued for 10 cities including Rome, Bologna and Florence. Several visitors to Rome have reportedly collapsed from heat strokes. Experts say periods of exceptionally hot weather are becoming more frequent and climate change means it's now normal to experience record-breaking temperatures. The European Centre for Medium Range weather forecast and said that globally the June was the hottest on record.
Prima Kutumi, Fantamai.
Moving on to sports news, Sri Lanka A managed to secure a 48-run victory against Bangladesh A in their first match in the ACC Emerging Teams Asia Cup 2023.
The match was played at the SSC ground.
And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news. Thank you very much for joining us. Together with Charita and Sharifa, wishing you a very pleasant night.
Good night.